Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's Yogi here. I hope you're well. Well, we're starting a little bit later today because I had emergency class to cover for another teacher. But here I am. I can't wait for a spot of stitching with you as well. So today I'm working on this piece. Let me just bring on this beautiful markup here. So this piece is called The Old Kitchen, and it's by one of my favorite artists from Heaven and Earth. And it's a name I probably can never pronounce correctly. But today I'm going to stick with Cairo Marchetti, okay? Take your pick. There may be a few combinations, and I'll try them in the future sessions. But this is such a beautiful, whimsical piece. It's full of, delicious items on the cupboard and beautiful decorations. The saucers, the teapots, everything there is just dreamy and beautiful. My dream kitchen. So with this piece, I'm working on a 25 count fabric, and let me just zoom in a little bit there. So I'm working on 10 stitches with this piece. So this is one of the 10 stitch pieces I started somewhere this year, really, January, February. So you can tell that, I've worked on it bit by bit, but still a little bit to go. And so I'm using CXC floss here. Let me just show you my progress here on Pattern Keeper. So today I'm going to use Pattern Keeper to keep to track my progress. So you can see my current completion is 2.989, 2.89. So today I might be able to push over 3. How exciting is that? And of course I'm starting with 0 stitch, and I'll see how far I can go. And just to show you the entirety of this piece, this is a mini, by the way. So we're talking about 9 pages worth of stitching. And this is where I am right now. So a little bit to go, but I'm just enjoying every stitch I make with my projects. And yesterday we did a really fun saw with Kim Jacobs as the theme, and it was so much fun. So I'm looking forward to every Wednesday, and if you'd like to join us, you haven't yet, on the saw, then you have time to prepare for the next Wednesday session. So let me just quickly turn to the chat here. Hey Dan, and Joyce is here. Joyce says hello everyone, and Sarah is here. Betty, hello, welcome. And Rose is here. Good evening. And Nikki, hi, Nikki is here as well. River, oh lovely everyone. And Jay as well. And Suzanne, beautiful. And let me know what you're working on, if you're stitching or whatever else is getting on. I know some viewers, they actually watch us when they're at work. Hush, hush. Let's not talk too loud so the boss will know. Or maybe if they're bosses themselves, and it doesn't matter. So I hope you're well today. It was a little bit of a rush, and I thought maybe I won't be able to start till about 10 or even later, but I managed. And so today I've got a slightly different plan for this piece from previous session. So let me just hide that one for a little bit. So far I've been doing sort of block by block, not very uniformly. I've been doing row by row. But the other 10 stitch pieces, I've started to do color completion, and it's worked out pretty well. I was a little bit worried about the fabric being too tight, the stitches being, boxed in together. But with this piece today, I've been thinking since last night. I want to try to cross country with 10 stitches, because the reason I haven't done so was that, with full crosses, if you create loose stitches, they look like little squares. They're really clear in terms of their location. It's much harder to mistaken them or make mistakes. Not that you can't, but with 10 stitches, it's much harder because each stitch, by default, it looks like a slanted line rather than a square. When they all come together, it looks pretty good. You might not be able to tell these are not full cross stitches, but when they're in on their own, they do look like just a slant, little line there. So my worry has been that it's going to create confusion. Even the best of day, best of time, I make mistakes. So I would like to try this though, to challenge myself, to see if I'm able to cross country. It would be so much fun. It will give me one more option to do my project. So that's what I'm going to do. And in terms of location or direction, I'm going to start, I'll try my best to maintain the diagonal line. I think it's much better in terms of the all the threads here. And also I'll make judgment call in terms of whether I'm going to park once I go cross country. If I finish the thread, of course that's done. But if there's sort of thread remains, I'll see if I'm going to park. I'll see what feels right as I start stitching. I think I'll know by then. So with that, I am looking forward to this session. This is my relaxation every evening, stitching and chatting with you. And Rajul, hello. Rajul says, hello, everyone. And River says, today is the day 1 of 3 working on rustic farmstead. I've seen the picture, River. It's beautiful. Really peaceful image there. And if you haven't joined the our Facebook group there, you're welcome to join. I'll post a link on top of the chat in a bit. Oh, Rose says, I have my earbuds in my ears so my boss can't hear. You've got it all set up. One more work day, then I have 2 rest days. Wonderful, something to look forward to. And Griegi, I'm so sorry. I try my best. I presume it's a she. Okay, if you're a bloke, just raise your hands. I'll correct it. But she says, hello everyone, just jump on in one white fabric count. You made this. Oh, I don't a lot. I'm not quite understanding the message. Maybe you can explain a little bit more. And River says you'll get used to it. I'm glad. I'm glad you said that. I thought as much. I think it's just my eyes are not trained enough, not used to looking at little, line there. But today we'll find out. And if I'm going to make mistakes, it will be about, now really. So I am going to, because I've got so many part threads here. Typically, if you do cross country, you can do it without part threads. But I've got tongues here, so I'm going to work with them. And I'm going to work from the bottom up. So it's, so no part thread is going to get in my way. So it's going to be a very interesting process, I think. Let me just bring that thing, the mock-up up for your reference. I think it's going to be interesting because the cross-country and parking combination, it can work quite well or not, because you could be fighting with part threads everywhere unless you have some sort of rules and order So whenever you come across a part thread, you just automatically, so I'm clearing up, I'm weeding right now to clear up my end bits that I left from the last session, so I don't run into them. And these I'm going to keep for a little bit until, well, no, actually, this one I need to clear up, or I'm going to have a big fight with these little bits left over. Why don't I just clear everything? They should be fine. There's sufficient length of thread that's left behind underneath, so it will all be okay. So I don't have to worry about them. And also on our group, I've been looking at particularly a couple of you, and Suzanne in particular. She's doing Royal Row. I know Joyce is doing Royal Row as well. And I'm kind of thinking about whether I should give it another go. So I might pick a piece, pick my victim there, and then give Royal Rows another try. I just think maybe I just haven't figured it out yet. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to bring the thread over like that and start working from bottom up and see where I go today. Could be somewhere interesting. So let me zoom into the correct location. There's a lot of part thread going on there. And Suzanne says, I'm working on Golden Gate Bridge tonight. Worked on, oh yeah, I saw your fox piece as well. Very, very pretty. Very pretty indeed. Oh, so nice to be able to sit down and just do a little bit of stitching. And I'm drinking, what am I drinking? I'm drinking peppermint tea, my usual. Oh, this is just, what an interesting start. This is just one stitch. And I'm still thinking about how I'm going to end my thread, because so far I've been doing the, tucking away the thread away, sort of 10 stitches away, and then bring the thread up and leave it there. I think I might do a diagonal version of that, which may or may not work because cross country is less predictable. So this is about 10 stitches away. Let's try this, see if it flies. If it doesn't, I will try something else. Because cross country is less predictable in terms of where the stitches start or end. So where I place these little end threads, end bits, there's no guarantee they get tucked down by the time I have to remove it because it gets in the way. All the variables. It's like extreme sport stitching. You just don't know what's going to happen. So the first stitch, we've got a single stitch. Amazing. Thank you, Suzanne. Suzanne says it looks lovely. And I really love this piece. Like all the pieces I've got, every time I'm working on a single piece, that's my favorite right there. I'm so fickle. Never believe a word I say. I'm one of those people. I'll say to people, you're my favorite. You're my favorite. And then I turn to another person and say, you're my favorite. I'm like that. So this color has got a few more stitches here. Let me see if I can bring it over here. Yeah, much better. So you can see there. So you can see that that's a loose stitch out there. So it does look like just a line there. It's not always that clear where it is. So on, just need to be mindful there. 2. But I do love 10 stitches. Don't tell anyone, but it does make me stitch a little bit faster. You know, I pride myself to be a slow stitcher, but you know, when it's fast, I'm still quite thrilled. There. And so I think that's interesting. I have to decide on the fly how far I want to take the cross country. I think I'm going to just be a little bit free for now. If it starts to kind of, you know, create problems, then maybe I'll rein it back a little bit. So I'm going to take the thread up there and then over there. And the further you are away from the main stitch area, the more risk you have, the higher risk you have. Oops, already that stitch doesn't look right. So I'm warming up, everyone, and you know the first 15 minutes is the most thrilling. Anything could happen. And already I made a weird stitch. 1, 2 here. There we go. But luckily I have a gridded fabric, which might help me a little bit, because gridding is another it's another my feel. You know, you can get, if you get it right, fine, but if you don't, disastrous. So I have my fabric on my side, 3 over here, and I'm running out of length here. I might need to do a, how do I do this? I could end it, but I haven't found a good ending method for 10 stitches. I don't want to do pin stitches. Let me try this. If you have good suggestions, please let me know what would be a good thread ending method for half stitches cross country, if there's one. Suzanne says it does get easier. I hope so. Oh, River says, I discovered 10 stitch and never looked back. So do you do all your projects in with 10 stitches? That's so interesting. It is faster and it does make you feel really good, right? Because you just, you know, keep charging forward. And also I need to be careful which part thread I'm picking up, because I could get it very wrong. So, but I'm really enjoying it already. 1, 2. I think when it comes to 10 stitches, it's quite split, isn't it? I was actually in the camp of Joyce prior to this year. I know Joyce doesn't do 10 stitches, and I totally get it in a way, because I was kind of being a little bit of a purist. You know, I thought this is cross stitch. If you don't cross stitch, what are you doing? You know, why are you why you only do half of it? And I know that the look, Eliane, might not look that different, but in my mind, I was fighting it. You know, the resistance was there. But finally, this year, in the beginning of the year, I was feeling a little bit kind of fatigued with all my projects. I was looking for a new adventure. And then I go, well, you know, I've got nothing to lose there. Let me try some 10 stitches and see how it goes. And I'm so glad I did, though. once I started and look at the results as well, first of all, the coverage is really, really good. And also, it's fun. It's really fun. And it's something new for me to do. And that's always a good thing. I'm always looking for something new to do. You know what? I'm going to part at this spot here. It just feels right to do it because there's another cluster of this color down at the bottom. So I'm going to just park it here, see how it goes. So I'm going to make sort of on the fly judgment calls as I go to see what makes sense. And eventually I might be able to work out something that works for me. So I'm going to move it over here a little bit. And Joyce today is working on bedtime story, the piece she's working on for her future grandchild. And she's going to work a little bit on the sow as well, the dry flowers. So she's doing the same piece as me. And it's nice to have a bit of a variety, isn't it, Joyce? I know you're very single-minded, wanting to finish the piece for your grandchild, but it's nice to have sort of a little bit of reset. 1, 2, 3. Let me just 1, 2, 3. Just make sure I'm even on the right spot there. Where am I? Who are you? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 here and below. How strange. I don't recognize this one. I didn't mark it as a part thread. Very typical. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I get it. And that doesn't even look right as a color. So I'm gonna one, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I have to snip off this one because I have no idea what it is. Oh, so River, you do everything in 10 stitches. Very brave. I like a bit of variety. I think we're different, aren't we? So that's very nice. That's very nice. In fact, I am going to maybe be a little bit more controlled and stick with one area at a time so I don't get completely lost. I can see that happening. I can see that happening. Being too ambitious. Okay, let's do this. Nikki says, I let the loop end and pull the end to another hole and snip. Yes, I tried the loop ending from time to time, but for some reason, when I have 2 strands, particularly on 25 count, when I pull the thread down, I can try it again when I need to end. I'll show you my issue. Sometimes the thread kind of gets snagged, and when I pull it down, there's a little knot there, kind of stuck, and it just became more of a problem than solution. So it could be just my way of doing it. That is not that great. It's entirely possible. Entirely possible. But yeah, I think loop end might be an option. Maybe I just need more practice because I really I'm not a great fan of pin stitches. Particularly on 25 counts, if you have a lot of pin stitches everywhere, the fabric, I find, start to distort, particularly with 2 strands, because there's double amount of material getting embedded under the fabric. And the fabric just looks a little bit rubbish, and I don't like it. Oh, I'm totally freestyling in terms of where I'm stitching. I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit scared now. I'll just keep going to see what happens. That's how I won't start sobbing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 here. I'm gonna just keep it loose here to see if it flies. Some days I just want to do 10 stitches. Today is one of them. One more here. Suzanne says, I try using the method the Stitching Masterpieces does, but a cross-country stresses me out. It was too chaotic. Back to semi line by line. Yeah, I think that's totally fair, Suzanne, because every person, every stitcher has their own kind of comfort zone. And cross-country, well, you can do different distances, you know, everybody. Some people do long distance, which I can never do. It's too scary. But, you know, within reason, short distance, you know, I actually quite enjoy it. It's a just different way to stitch. But I get it. Some stitchers, you know, they prefer more structured, more controlled methods. And you should pick the one that works. This one, let me have a look. I've got a tiny bit of thread left, and I might not even have enough length to do a loop. Let's give it a go. So this one, so I hope you can see it. I'm gonna attempt to do a loop here, even though the thread is kind of short. And there's a loop ending. You really need to know that's the final stitch you're going to make, because sometimes you just stitch and stitch and then realize you want to end it, and that's a bit too late to do the loop. So I've got a loop there. And sometimes, let's see what happens today. Sometimes when I loop it through and then pull a little bit tighter, and this is when the problem occurs. So with 25 counts, 2 strands, sometimes it just doesn't want to go down smoothly. I mean, today is fine. Okay, that's fine. So it might work. It might work if I do it mindfully. Thank you, Nikki, for that suggestion. I forgot about that one. And yeah, it doesn't look too bad, this one. Bravo, Yogi. Because sometimes I just get a one big kind of knot stuck at a corner there. And, you know, I have to like remove. It just ended up being more work than not. And I'm going to keep moving over here. Oh, Leslie didn't know about the loop end because most people know the loop start. Everybody loves it if you do if you have two strand, but you can, with each piece of thread, you can only do it once because then there's no loop anymore, and you can create loop start with no loop as well, the same method. But with starting, there are more options, so I tend not to do that. Where am I? There. But in terms of whether it's secure, I think most people will tell you it's probably secure. But again, it's probably me. I have had my loop ending threads popping up before. So that has happened. So don't be shocked if that happens. 1, 2. But you don't want to pull too tight when you finish the loop because you distort the fabric. But if you don't, somehow it is possible for them to come loose. It has happened. So I'm sure there's probably a sweet spot there somewhere. Oh. Let me keep moving down here. And on my part, this thread, even though it's not much length left. 1, 2. Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna park it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm grateful the fabric is actually gridded. It makes life easier in this instance. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Okay, I can see the pattern emerging here. Yes, you have to pull the knot down, but sometimes you just get snagged. It's just me. It's my clumsy way of doing it. But I think with a bit of practice, maybe I just need to do more, because sometimes I just get frustrated and go, well, let's not do that. But probably just making the loop quite carefully, quite mindfully. Five here. Oh, let me remember to post the link for you, our group. So if you want to join, you're welcome. Let me just paste it here. I'll pin it. There you go. Oh, Sarah says, I deleted my Facebook account. My goodness. I love the thought of sharing my stitches with everyone, but overall, Facebook vibe is very overwhelming. Maybe I can find a different way to share my progress on Sal. Wow. I get it. Totally. It's not for everyone, social media. And you also have the option to create a new account with no networking with anybody whatsoever, and just use that solely for your stitching. So you don't have to worry about anything else. That's an option, but if it's not for you, it's not for you. Absolutely. You know, we're here to relax and enjoy the stitching. There's no need to get stressed. No need at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's more here. Yes, you can do, Rose, you can do one strand loop as well. Yes, you absolutely can. The same way you do the ending. Very similar. Oops, I don't think that's correct. This is not correct. 1, 2, that one's already done. That's why. It is much harder to tell in terms of location there. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. 1, 2, that's the one. Oh, this is very tricky for my eyes. Yeah, if you look at the boxed in stitch, there is one there, but it's just not obvious. With 10 stitches. With full cross, you can clearly see there's a little square shape in the middle. But with tent, it's less obvious. That's why I couldn't find it. And one more here. One, two, three. One, two. Hey, Frankie. Good to see you. Welcome. So, Rose, what kind of parking method are you trying right now? So I am going to, let's have a look. I'm going to park it down here. I'm starting to figure out where my comfort zone is. So I think, at least for now, it seems like if I stick with kind of roughly 1 square at a time, but not sort of color complete necessarily, but roughly there. And if I feel comfortable traveling further, then I'll do that. And then I'll park. So it seems to be the pattern right now, naturally. So I see how that goes. So I have the freedom to stitch further, to cross country further if I want to, but somehow I just come to sort of natural stop at around a square, a block distance. So my mind is still trying to tell me to stitch within that area. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, Jane, definitely give 10 stitch another go. I mean, you know, you have nothing to lose. Well, I mean, you know, I've seen people doing 10 stitches, not liking it, and just halfway just turn it into a full cross. No one will know. As long as you don't mention it, no one will know. It's another warm day today. And I was right about another heat wave coming, and looks like it, because it was kind of cooling down a little bit for the last few days, previous few days, and from yesterday, it was getting really, really warm again. Well, actually hot. So we're at around 28, 29 mark Celsius for the last couple of days now. 2, and then 2 below. Joy says maybe you could do sort of a half pin stitch after the loop finish. Oh, come splicing a fabric thread a few stitches away and snip it. Oh, that will hold the tail until the stitch is over. I'm trying to think. Half pin stitch. What is a half pin stitch? After the loop. Huh. Hi, Tracy. So Tracy's watching it, been watching it on TV, but couldn't get on my phone until the workday ended. Oh, say hello to Tracy. So everybody's finding their way to have a sneak peek of the live stream. That is so nice. Yes, I can imagine, because if you're in North America, this is daytime, right? And if you're doing a 9 to 5 sort of full-time job, you'll be working. So it'll be much harder to come on here live. I get it. See, oh, so this bit I managed to wander down a little bit. For some reason, it feels right. So I'm gonna just follow my instinct and see where it takes me. It could be somewhere disastrous, which wouldn't be unusual, but you know, I'll give it a go. And here, because they're parked threads, so naturally I want to stop. So there you go. That's my comfort zone there. So I'm going to park underneath rather than trying to fight it. 1, 2, and 3 here. There you go. Oh, row. So even parking methods, you know, there are different ones, right? There sometimes you park within sort of outside the block. You do color complete or row by row, whatever, and you park outside a block. Or if you cross country and you park till if you know if you get to the next stitch is slightly far away, then you park. So there are different rules. So I'm just wondering what which rules you kind of adopt. Let me see next one. So sounds like you're doing not that dissimilar to what I'm doing, because I'm cross-countrying, kind of just stitch till wherever I want to stop and then just park the thread in the next spot, slightly further away or something like that. So let me see that one down. 1 2 1 2 here. It is slightly tricky to figure out where. Okay, not too bad. I think that's correct. Maybe my eyes will get used to it. There. And I think it's probably good that I'm working on darker colors. There's more definition there. I think it will become trickier if they're super light, you know, in color. There. And another stitch down here. There. And there's one more stitch over there. I can just bring it over and two, three. One, two. It requires a lot more focus, I think. And I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to do another loop, see how this one goes. There. A clumsy loop ending live. Oh, slow yogi. Slow yogi. Slow stitch yogi. And slow yogi as well. Let me pull it down. Ah, I hear the snap. Good. That's the sound I was looking for. So I know the little knot is underneath the fabric. Not bad, not bad. Second try. Okay so far. Rose says, I was trying to follow what you do. That might lead you to complete disaster. That's your choice. You know, don't hold it against me. No, that's fine. Yes, I think this is, pretty safe. You just mini cross country. Some people end the thread. When it comes to stop, some people park. That's it. As long as, well, with parking is the tricky part, is if you don't apply some kind of rules, you're gonna start fighting with the park thread. That you don't want to do. I think that's probably the only consideration. Well, this one, okay, so this one's got one stitch, and then another stitch is really far away. So, in that case, I might end it here. Tracy, 5:80 a.m. or p.m.? 5:18 rather. 5:18 is what, daytime if you're at work. 5:18 would be very early for work. Let's have a look. Let's try another loop ending, see how that goes. 3 times lucky. There. I think loop ending I can do better with one strand, and it's, this one, I didn't hear the snap, but it seems to be okay. I like that sound of the knot kind of snap through the fabric, because it's done. Otherwise you kind of go, what is happening there? Not sure. Okay, this one's okay. So far so good. So far so good. PM. I gathered. Oh, Suzanne. Suzanne says, I think I'm following Needle Ninja's snake method. I love Needle Ninja. Yes, I was studying the way she stitched as well on her channel. And can you explain to me, because that's one bit I never figure out, why do you need to snake? What's the purpose? Because I understand she does row by row, and she allows herself to stack stitches if they're the same color vertically from time to time. But why do you need to snake? I just never figured that out. Because if you're not familiar with the snaking method, you basically go from left to right with a odd number row. So we're thinking block by block here. Odd number 1, 3, 1, 3, 5, etc. You go from left to right, and the even number you go from right to left. But I could never figure out why you need to do that. What would be the benefit of doing that? So Suzanne, you're a lot more clever than me. Maybe you can explain to me. Oh, Tracy says, hello, Tracy. We've got two Tracys, but spelled differently. So Tracy says, hi, Yogi. So glad I caught you live. I wanted to ask you, as you probably said it 100 times, what frame do you use? Okay. It holds the fabric tight and seems to make the stitches more uniform. Okay, Tracy, you're going to be shocked when I reveal what frames I'm using. Okay, this is the fancy stuff that that it's probably so rare that you'll find it very difficult to find. So let me show you. Let me zoom out a little bit. The frame or frames I've been using for probably pretty much all my projects with ice stream is this. A good old-fashioned wooden hoop here. So I went from frames like this, hoops like this, to a Q-snap. And then I also have some plastic, plastic square shape, round shape hoops as well. I've tried them all. But in the end, I come back to the good old-fashioned hoops. The only condition I have with my hoops is, let me show you one of these I've got spare on the side. I learned this from who's that lady? Needlebug Karen. She recommended this particular brand is Nudge. You can probably find it on their website. This is really sturdy because a lot of hoops, they've got these metal bits. When you pull the fabric too tight, eventually they start to distort. And I actually broke a couple of them. The metal attachment here just come off because I just screw the screw too tight. So the only condition I have with these hoops, they have to be sturdy, and these are also very deep in depths. This is double the depth. I've got shallow ones as well, and I use them, but these ones are much more, a lot stronger. But having said that, I still managed to, because I pull my let me just turn on my thing because it's not focusing on very well. Let me just bring it back here. Right, so hopefully that's better. Yes, you can see better. So the only problem is if you want to keep the tension as tight as me, it's possible. Even the screws here, let me just focus here, could break. So this one I probably have already broken even with something so strong. So that's the price to pay when you want a lot of tension for your fabric. But that's okay, you can get these parts separately. You can get additional screws for these. So this is my secret good old-fashioned wooden hoops there for you. So this particular brand with really deep sort of frames, it's called Nudge, N-U-R-G-E, something like that. So look them up. I think so far I only know this brand. They do really deep ones, but any regular loops would do, as long as they look nice and strong, and with a screw as well, because you really want to screw them tight. The hand screw ones, nah, it's just not gonna work. It will be really painful to do, and also not very effective. So exactly, Tracy, simplicity is the best. Is the best. And it holds attention really well. You can tell it barely bounces when I press it. And it's quite important for me because it's all about the stitching experience, and I don't like my fabric kind of going up and down. Some people don't mind. I know some people, they're happy to stitch, like that. But I think when you have really good tension, your stitches also, come out much smoother and even. So oh, Laneige plastic ones, no, I bought them as well. They're those. It's probably not just Nerge. It's like all plastic. Hoops are not good, and I'll show you why. Hang on. So this is one of the plastic ones I've got. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let me remove this one. So you can tell something's happening there. Let me just zoom out a little bit more here. So this is a pretty large one. It looks quite sturdy. It's plastic, right? And it's got a screw here. So far, so good. But the problem is, can you see this? Let me see. So when you screw the screw really tight, the plastic starts to get fatigued, and you get these ones. Hang on. Can you see that? The fatigue here. The plastic turned white. And I've got a couple of smaller ones are already broken. Basically, you can no longer screw tight. And this one is close to broken, I think, because the plastic start to distort. You can see the white bits, and on top here as well, where I applied more pressure here. So eventually I don't use this one anymore because I just can't. I'm just worried that that's going to snap. So I've tried them all, unfortunately. Sounds like a good idea. But Suzanne asks, which do you have? Do you mean the diameter or the depth of the frame, Suzanne? If you're asking about the size of this frame, this particular one is about 11 inches, so 31 centimeters, something like that. But the depth, this one is the shallow side. This one is actually the regular, probably, I think 8 mm, the depth. But the other one I showed you, that's double, is 16. So, and I really like the thick ones, the deep ones. It feels so secure. But they're slightly pricier, but I think it's worth it. No, this one is not Nerge, but I think all plastic frames will have the same problem, because when you put the metal screw through, it's just going to, eventually exhaust the plastic, because it's plastic. And it doesn't do that with wood. I don't think I've ever had a sort of wooden frame or hoops that kind of split or break. It's normally the metal attachment that's the problem. But the wood or bamboo is really strong and flexible. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with the plastic ones. But, you don't know till you try. And I quite like the idea of those wooden frames whose Joyce is using, but it's just not practical for me because I've got so many projects, and there's just no way I'll be able to get enough frames to support all of them. And I presume those kind of frames probably takes a bit more effort to put to set up the fabric. So But I can imagine that probably give you, those wooden frames probably give you pretty good tension. One, two, three, four. One down. And this one over here. Oh, do you think, Suzanne, the Nudge plastic doesn't do that? It's more flexible. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll give them a go. I do know they have plastic ones, but I just presume that all plastic ones would have similar issue. I might give them a go. One, two, three. Where am I? One, two. And then one more. This one, I'm going to, oh, I'm running out of thread. I don't know if I have enough thread to do a loop. So I'm going to just hope for the best. I'm going to just leave it to Dango, actually. Very, very risque option there, because I've got a very short amount of thread there. Should be okay. If it comes out, it comes out. Just the way it is. And this one, couple of stitches there. Oh, so the plastic from Nudge is more flexible, but it doesn't get as tight. Yeah, I think wooden frame, the deeper ones, if you can get those, they're the best so far, I think. That's quite right, Jay. Yes, I was looking at Nudge's version of the plastic. Yes, it's got more sort of protection around the screw, and also it's in an angle. Maybe that helps. Maybe it's a bit stronger. That is true. Yeah, I like the idea of score frame as well. It's just that I've got too many projects to make it practical. I think if you have one or two, or even just one, that's perfect, because you just keep it on the frame, keep moving, scrolling. I can imagine that would be quite nice. One, two here. And I'll see if I can manage the remaining four at the bottom there. Right, so this one I'm gonna do a loop. I should have enough thread here. A little bit longer here. Ah, okay, this time I jammed. I probably didn't pull it down exactly the same spot. So this is what happens sometimes because I'm clumsy and I end up with this little knot there. Live, live stream. So you know what I mean when I say I make mistakes with these ones. So this is what happens. I end up with a dead knot there, which I don't know how to loosen it. You would have thought you would be able to trace your way back, but not necessarily. Oh, maybe. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to try again. Where am I? I'm here. Oh dear. This is a little bit fiddly. What if I just do a Kamari? I just leave, leave a long tail at the bottom under the fabric, and yeah, the back will look like a carpet, but who cares? Kamari doesn't. Let me try again. Here we go. And I'll try to bring it down the same spot. I think I probably caught like the neighboring. Oh, okay. Beautiful. Now, better. Much better. Whew. That was a bit hairy. Nikki says Kamari method makes me hyperventilate. I think it makes everybody hyperventilate. You're not alone. Everybody's going, oh. And also in my mind, not just the fact the back looks like a carpet, it's the fact that how much material you're wasting there. And I just can't, I can't do that. I just cannot. My body just does not allow that to happen. So every single cell of my body is fighting back from the Kamari ending thread, starting ending method. What's the Kamari method? So if you don't know Kamari, then you should look up the name on YouTube. She's got a YouTube channel. She's a Japanese lady, and she stitches super fast. She's like the Olympic level of stitcher, and she's also monogamous most of the time when it comes to projects. So she will stitch the same project pretty much in and out until it's done. So she's got many finished pieces, like large pieces, super size, etc. Okay, so that already put her in a slightly different category, at least for me. So her method is, whereas kind of like, agonizing over one method to use for starting and ending, etc. This lady, basically, to start, why don't I take a thread here just to demonstrate. So normally you do some sort of method, right, to start. And let me just pull one that's quite clear in color. So what she does, it's actually, if you think about it, it's probably the simplest, and this is why she does it. So normally we do some sort of, pin stitch start or try to tuck in, whatever. What she does, let me see if I can do it. She goes from the bottom and come up. So I've got this piece of thread here, right? And then I'm going to start a stitch here. So she will go from under. I don't know which corner she comes up, doesn't matter. She will pull up, and then the other hand, the second the hand underneath will be tucking down this thread, and she probably used her fingers to measure how much tail she wants to leave under. So normally we try to leave as little as possible, right? If I'm doing like a cross stitch tuck in method, I'll leave tiny bit, leave it on the surface. I'll do something like this, you know, come down and then come up the other corner, and try to leave as little tail as possible before I sorry, if you're doing this method, you would probably bring it slightly further away from like a couple of stitches, so you have a little bit of length there. And one of the practice would be see how far you can pull this end thread down as close to the fabric as possible, so you can just tease that stitch down. I'll undo this stitch in a bit, and then you do this, right? So that's a normal, and then you tease that down, and not a lot of material is wasted. But if you do Kamari method, you come down from the bottom up and you leave like a huge amount, like this long, maybe this long, or maybe longer. If you've seen the back of her work, she will leave about this long, which is like 10 miles for most stitches. And she will come up, she would do a normal stitch, really, it's just normal. And from the bottom corner, or whichever corner, she leave a long tail. Remember how long that tail is at the bottom. And then she will start stitching and just leave a long tail like that. And also when she finish a stitch, she does the same. So I let me demonstrate. I come up here, it's really long at the bottom, and then I cross stitch. Let's say I'm doing a single stitch. I'm guessing she's probably just doing that. And then there's a long tail at the bottom. She comes up, and then when she ends, she just leave it at the bottom without doing anything. That's done. That's it. That's like one stitch, and you've got about 10 miles of end thread at the bottom. That's Kamari method. There you go. I hope I've done her proud. If I did it incorrectly, she can come out, live here to correct me, but I think that's what's happening. So she's relying on the long tail to hold the stitches together, and then the other stitches will happen, and then the stitch is going to catch the end tail somewhere. So at the end, the back of the work is interesting. So there you go. Give it a go. If you have a lot of a DMC, you can give it a go. And Joyce asks, does she also do that with ninja stitches? Yes. From as far as I know, that I've seen, I watch her moving in slow motion. I watch her videos. I study the way she stitches for a couple of years now, I believe so. And a lot of times I'm not even sure she reuses the leftover piece. I'm not even sure she does that. I think she would cut her pieces relatively short, and if it's just one stitch, she will use up that entire piece. Okay, take a breath, everyone. I know if you're hyperventilating, take a drink of water and maybe lie down for a few minutes, okay? It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Yes, and I've been trying to find that video where she actually showed the back of her work. She made that video probably a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. But when I went back the other day, because I thought it would quite, it'd be quite interesting if we could watch together, I couldn't find that video anymore. I don't know whether she removed that or something happened. I don't know. But I was hoping that I'll be able to watch it again because it's breathtaking. Because no one else is doing the same. So it's very, very interesting thing to look at. And she's so fast though. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that one's gone down, and I cannot do an end method because I think I'm gonna pull this one away from here because it's too late for me to do a loop ending. I didn't know that was the last stitch, so I'm gonna just improvise. So just imagine how much material she goes through, and it must be relatively cheap in Japan, DMC, because she's using a lot of it, and I believe she only uses the DMC. Yes, so dentist, for me, yes, I agree, it's wasting a lot of material, but it makes it really fast. Because if you think about just how much time I'm trying to end a piece of thread, it probably takes some more time than stitching it. And imagine if you have just one stitch to make, and you start a certain way, you end the thread a certain way. A lot of, it takes about 5 minutes just to do that. Or, at least a couple minutes to one stitch. So this is her kind of competitive edge come in. She does not waste any time starting, ending thread. And she uses stitches super fast. So yeah, she's special. And let me move it down here. Joyce? No, I think Joyce, you're gonna be short of breath. After a couple of tries, knowing how neat you are. But if you're doing that, I would like to see that. Yes, please. Yeah, she frames all of them. I don't know whether she put them on the wall, because I can imagine Japanese houses are probably not massive, but she get them framed, and it's just amazing how many pieces she managed to finish. Here, let me see where I am, so I don't get lost. Why don't I start with that piece as well? But I really like her approach, in the sense that she doesn't give a, I nearly sworn that she doesn't give a, flying saucer of what it looks like, or whether the method kind of looks good or not. If it works, she does it, and I kind of admire her for that. Let me move that out. Where am I? I can't find my way. Hello. Hello. Hello, part threads. Yes, I found it. Oh, sorry, Nikki. I thought it's... I misread it. Stitchy, I misread it as Stutchy. Sorry, that's me. That's me. Of course, it's Nikki. Do you think you can pull that off, Nikki? Kamari method. You should do it live. I like to see it. And then I'll have the ambulance, waiting outside, just in case. Again, this one is... Okay, I am going to end it somehow here. So my end threads here may start to look a little bit messy, but I'll remove them as I go. So all will be good. 317, 317. The real joy. The real joys appeared. Absolutely right. I don't think anybody could do it. I think you have to be, I don't know. Why is she so relaxed about it? I don't know. She's made differently, you know? That's why she's special. There's no way I'll be able to pull that off. Stitchy, Dutchy. I get confused. It's a shame I can't find that video anymore, because that was breathtaking. It was just so interesting to look at. She demonstrated how she stitches from the camera was set from the bottom of under her desk, under her frame, so you could see the back of her work, and also how her hands move, how she pull her threads down, and then how long the tails are underneath, so people can have a fit. Choice. The rock she creates on the back, you could braid it. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I don't know for sure. I vaguely remember she might have trimmed it before she framed her work when she finishes. I think she will wash the work, because normally a piece of project will take years to do. She will wash the work and then dry it, iron it, and then I think she might have trimmed the rug to make it a little bit shorter, or at least even, because otherwise it might have some parts slightly thicker than others. That wouldn't be good. So I vaguely remember that. Yes, there's a video of her washing her work as well. I've never seen that done by anyone else. So yeah, you can braid it for sure. Okay, where am I? Here. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna park here, I think, because it just feels like I'm wandering a little bit far. There. How does that look so far? I have no idea. I don't know how I'm feeling right now. I think it's okay. Joy says, but imagine how hard it gets to stab the needles and pull the threads through. I was wondering that. But then she's doing it so fast. And the tension of her fabric does drive me mad as well. It was just like bouncing up and down. She's keeping it quite loose. Maybe that helps her to pull the needle through, because I could see her finger kind of trying to kind of press from the bottom up to create a little bit more tension as she bring the needle up. So I don't know, maybe she intentionally keeping the tension quite loose. But then recently I noticed that she bought a new frame, so now the tension is a lot tighter. So maybe if it's just her frame not being very effective. But one day I would like her to explain to me how she's able to use up so much material and still, be totally okay with it, can sleep at night. I'll probably be tossing and turning, thinking, oh my goodness, all that DMC threads. I'm going to bring it over here. And then I'm going to park it down there. Well, actually, I'm going to just stitch it. It's there. And then I'm going to bring it to the right there. I'm improvising. There. A River says, how is it we don't get commercials on our lives? Because I'm not eligible for monetization yet. But with your help, more views, more subscribers, I might be able to get there. Are you missing the commercials? Do you want commercials, River? Are you asking for them? Oh, yes, Joyce. Yes. The material at the back, you can stitch another 5 page. I think that's enough material to do that. To think about that. Because at the front, really, there's not much there. And the back, yeah. If you think about all the tail she's leaving behind. Yes. So I think maybe when she frames her work, she should turn it the other way, because the other way's got more material. I think it looks probably more interesting. Or she can have 2 pieces of glass. She can frame it on sort of keeping both sides clear, so she can flip over from time to time to look at the back. Just to appreciate all the DMC threads there. And let me see. Just making sure, why does it look a bit taller? 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to take it down here and park. And keep doing quite a few part threads in this area, in this block alone. Joyce, I'm a city girl. I wouldn't know what it's like to to shear sheep. This poor sheep. That's funny. There you go. It's probably a little bit like that when she's trimming the back before framing. It's like, you know, shaving an animal, a beast. Two more over here. Oh, Joyce, totally. Hopefully I didn't come across while I'm mocking her. I totally admire her speed and her attitude, to her stitching. That's why I follow her for so many years. When I found her probably about 3 years ago during COVID, and I was watching her every day. I still do. Just watch how she works. It's fascinating. Absolutely, she's special. Nikki says we should all try on a smaller piece and have a saw. Can you imagine people just falling over, having heart attack? You just go, oh no, I can't do this anymore. Oh dear. I know, just imagine. But I think we're stitched really fast, really fast. Because starting and ending is like a genre on its own when it comes to stitching. It's like so many different methods and different school of thinking. Imagine if you just let that go and just go, hey, screw that, just stitch. And that's quite freeing, actually, maybe. And maybe that's worth doing. But I suspect if we do a sow, there'll be a sow of two, just you and me, Nikki. I don't think anyone else will join in. It's too scary. Too scary. Oh, Carrie. Carrie says, I haven't seen that project before, Yogi. What is it? Yes, this is a piece called, let me bring up this beautiful mock-up for you. This is called The Old Kitchen. This is from Heaven and Earth and from an artist called Cairo Marchetti. That's my version today of his name. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful kitchen. Yes, so I cycle through, well, not in any particular way. I cycle through all my whips depending on how I felt that day. And today is the day to work on this one. So here I am. It's a beautiful piece, and it's a mini version as well. So and this one. Nikki, do you think you can pull it off with CXC? To be honest, it's not even about how much the floss cost. It's just the fact that I just think these threads are made to be stitched. So if they're just, they get thrown away, they haven't served their purpose. And I felt bad for the thread. I just have this thing. That's why I try to use up every bit if I can. Because that's what they're here for. I'm going to just park it over here, otherwise it's too chaotic to stitch. Thank you, Carrie. Yes, it's a gorgeous piece. Joy says maybe we fuss too much about securing threads. I always wonder that when I'm frogging. Well, yes, we can go overboard with it. That's why watching Kamari is so freeing, because basically she said, well, you don't need to do all that. You can do this. So that's why it's so interesting to see her approach. Absolutely. And she gets to finish so many pieces. I haven't finished a single piece. So there you go. She's winning. So this one, I'm going to pop down here as well. Three, 7, 7, 6. That's interesting. Distribution of stitches down here. Carrie says, I'm an almost monogamous stitcher. Watching Floss Tube has told me I'm definitely in a minority. Well, I don't know the actual split, to be honest, because I'm definitely not monogamous. You probably figured that out. But some people are. If you look at, I don't know, like Gemma Stitches, she's monogamous, pretty much. I don't know. Yeah. But also when it comes to multiple projects, there's also a range, going on there, because some people might have maybe two or three, not monogamous, but you have one main one and then some, side projects. And or you have someone like me. Literally, I cannot commit. I love them all. I want to do them all, and that's what I'm doing. So, but it's amazing that you can stick to one piece. That is pretty remarkable. And my brain just doesn't work like that. I just need to, change from day to day. Sometimes within the same day, I'll work on multiple projects because I just need that. So Suzanne has gone over 700 stitches already today. Amazing. Heather, hello, welcome. Heather says monogamous stitches don't have as much to talk about, so they don't make floss tubes. Ha! Well, but Gemma stitches, she's been doing the same piece, sometimes over a couple of years. But it really depends. And let me see. So Heather is also monogamous, a bigamous stitcher. I have two projects. I alternate, plus a crochet project. Yeah, absolutely. Even within people who do multiple projects, there are different ranges. You have someone, I'm probably on the more extreme side. I don't know for sure, but it's not unusual for people to have a few going on there. But they probably have one they focus on more, looking to finish, and then have the other ones almost like a palette cleanser type of, function, which is nice too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see. 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Sarah says, I have one main piece and a couple of non-focus pieces that come out now and then. Yeah, I think that's a probably healthier way to do it. I don't know. It's nice to have a little bit of reset, so everything feels fresh. I remember when I got the Gecko Rouge project, the really big ones from Gecko Rouge. I was working on that one. It was probably the most monogamous, if I was ever monogamous, that was probably closest to it for about 6 months. I think maybe I only worked on that project because I was so happy to get it. I was so keen to work on it, and the project is absolutely vast. So, but after that, I was burned out. I couldn't touch it for, at least a couple of months. I had to just switch to something else because I probably just went a bit too far. I'm just naturally not that sort of, single-minded with a project. And then I went back to it and it was fine. I just treated it like all the other projects. So, cycle them through how I wanted. And Kerry says, I'm working on 2, one for each kiddo. Oh, so if you have 5 kids, you need 5 projects. So think about that. So I do 5% and then switch. Wow, that's very disciplined. That way I'll be done fairly close to each other, not 5 years apart. Wow, that's very, very disciplined. But 5% depends on how big the project is. That's a lot though. I mean, for me to move 8%, then it takes, months, weeks. Depends. Let me see, where do I take this over? Why don't I move it over? I try to not end threads as much as I can. I think that would be my strategy. Because the thread ending situation in this piece is a little bit on the tricky side. Let me take a sip on my tea here. Oh, Suzanne, you're 1 hour ahead of me. So yes, it's past midnight. Well done. Oh, so Joy's just name a few YouTuber floss tubers. They have tons of whips. That makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah, I suppose it varies a lot from people to people, person to person. Oh, Heather asks, is this on 25 counts with CXC? Yes, these are CXC. You can probably tell by the texture. It's quite fluffy. And she says, I'm going to start my first full coverage soon and trying to decide what count and threads to use, as well as full or half cross. Yes, decisions. Absolutely. It's fun though, making those decisions. And the first full coverage, how exciting. And also, you need to make up your mind somehow with the method of stitching. I mean, the method of stitching you can switch, it's not so much an issue. I switch back and forth, different ways a lot within the same piece, just to keep it interesting. But also, I'm trying to think. I think there's one thing more to think about. What was that? So, oh yeah, and also where you want to start your piece, right? That's another thing. You could, change your stitching experience quite a lot. If you start from the center or from some corner. And from here, and there. So Suzanne, have you been using doing the most recent saw with Haid? Yeah, that's the thing. I've only done proper saw once a couple of years ago, and I think there were about maybe 6 pieces you're supposed to work through. I got tired of it by the third month. I just go, oh, I can't do this anymore. I still haven't finished that piece. So there you go. Hi, Jan. Jan Creation is here. What? Sarah says, Jan the Caffeinated Crafter, sounds good, has about 230 webs. Well, I'm pretty okay then. Yeah, 230. And how it really depends on how you define whips though. Is whips that basically everything you ever started, or the ones you're actively working on? It probably doesn't matter, but I can't imagine how you cycle through 230 projects. I think 20 would be plenty. You know, keeping them active and regularly being stitched. But 223, you can work on each piece just about once or twice each year. Can you imagine? Right. And 2 over here. Heather says, I have been watching videos about royal rolls, typewriter, diagonal, parking, cross country. It's a whole adventure. That's what I did in the beginning as well when I first started this journey. Absolutely. And we're so lucky to have so much, so many resources on YouTube, websites, etc., particularly YouTube, because you get to see how it's done. Absolutely. And all those methods are interesting. You know, you probably get to do them more. And as I said, stitching methods can be changed within a project, so you don't have to commit to it, which makes it fun. I was watching so many of those videos like a crazy person. Ah, so Suzanne is getting a little bit tired of Hazel. So what's the end goal for them? How many pieces? I mean, those pieces are not small. The saw I did a couple of years ago, those samplers, sort of, fun pieces, and still I get I get tired of it. I just got fatigue, just lost interest. I think the thing with me is I'm just not a very structured or goal orientated person when it comes to stitching. So for me to have to stitch a certain amount in order to meet the deadline, so to speak, be ready for the next piece, became stressful. In the beginning, the reason I joined was because it's fun, it sounds exciting, everybody, kind of doing it at the same time. And then I realized it kind of turned into like a homework. So I quite like the way we do it with the Wednesdays. It kind of just open-ended. There's no end goal. There's no amount of stitches you have to do. We can do 5 or, 2,000 if you can manage within the session. But it's just important thing is we just get together and stitch together. It doesn't matter how far you go. And it's more fun. Leslie asked, I'm new. How many projects do you have? Oh, to be honest, I haven't counted. The ones I have worked on a live stream on this channel, I did a quick calculation. I think it's about 15 so far. But I do still have quite a few pieces. I'm gradually trying to bring them back into the cycle, the rotation. Not that I have any structure way to cycle through them. I just stitch what I like that day. So some pieces get stitched more than others, and that's just the way it is. And I have no rush to bring everything back, because ultimately it's about enjoyment of what I'm stitching. You know, it's not like a conveyor belt of stitching. So I'm taking my time. Let me see, purple here. One, two. It is tricky to find a spot doing this method. Yes, those saws from hay saws, basically you're stitching mini projects, like, you know, within a very short amount of time. So it's too much. River goes, no, not missing the commercials. I think you're about 20 minutes late with my reply. Yes. So you're complaining. So how come there's no commercial? Bring them back. And there's one over here. One more here. I'm going to tuck it away. I think I'm going to do this method because a lot of times I don't even know the last stitch was going to be the last stitch. So in order to do loop ending, you do need to know that particular stitch is going to be the last one you do. So I'm going to stick with this method. Oh, Nikki. Nikki says, I just finished my 6 whole pages. How did you do that? She just finished 6 whole pages for drinks on the beach. So I get all the charts. If I finish by the end of the year, you get a free chart of your choice. My goodness. So how long has it taken you to do 6 pages? When did it start? So if you get to finish the first piece of your choice, which is the size of a mini essentially, and you get all the charts for free, is that the deal? So there are 6, well, I don't know how many pieces in the soul. You choose one to start with. If you finish it by certain time, correct, you get the rest of the charts free. Do you need to finish all the other charts as well to get to get a free chart? I rather spend, you know, like $9 or $10 to buy the chart. Thank you very much. Heather, join the club. Slow stitching. Heather says, I'm much closer to 5 stitches in a session than 2,000. I like it. I normally do 100 to 300. You're around a similar speed as me then. Yes, I like you already. Yeah, because all the other ones, they're all aliens. And some of them stitch like over 1,000 a day. That is so not normal, right, Heather? You know that. All right, so she's stitching on, Heather's stitching on Teresa Wenzler. Fortunate traveler. Oh, interesting. I'm gonna have a Google in a bit. Joyce says, Joyce, are you doing Hey Soul as well? Are you doing it as well? She says over 85k stitches. Jeez. Goodness. My Gecko Rouge piece is about 85, 80. Yeah, somewhere there. That is huge. Okay, that's not normal. Oh, River says, if I'm holding my hoop, it's just as easy to flip it over and run the thread under the stitches to end. Oh, flipping is something I don't want to do. But, you know, when it comes to full coverage, flipping, yes, if you flip, then it's easier. You just tuck the thread under what, you know, the stitch area. But it's the non-flipping method that is tricky. That's the that's kind of Nikki says they released it, referring to the soul, the Hay soul, Heaven and Earth soul. They released a couple of days before. Oh, a couple of days before 2025, so end of last year. So it's just finishing the chart. Do you mean the chart of your choice? So from my understanding, is there are multiple charts that you can choose from. So you just do one chart. 48,000 stitches from January till now, but 10 stitches. I don't care if it's 10 stitches, it's still a lot. I mean, 6 pages. Goodness. Well, if it's the size of mini is about 9 pages. But that's no joke, Nikki. I'm not laughing because that's a lot of stitches. Wow. Okay. So it's like that, is it? So Heather, you and me, we need to cuddle together because you and me, we are the real slow stitcher, okay? We're sticking with it. And all the rest of them, they're aliens. That's my conclusion. That's just not normal. There are days I feel like I'm flying. I feel like, oh my God, I'm stitching so fast. And I manage about 300, okay? So that's just me here. Don't judge me. Suzanne says, I nearly have 6 pages done. So since the beginning of this year, really. Heather says, you made me feel better calling me normal. I'm glad I'm not the only one who doesn't stitch 1,000 stitches a day. We're absolutely normal, okay? It's those ones that's stitching like 1,000 stitches. They're not normal, okay? Absolutely. Just be assured. They probably have antennas coming out of their heads, and they turn into like red squid, like the emoji at night. Because how can you move your hands so fast? That is not normal. Look at me, I'm stitching quite fast, efficient, right? One leg at a time, up this corner, down that corner, and just like a normal person. Heather, correct? And you know, this is how normal people stitch. That's a story I'm sticking to, okay? Oh, Kerry says, me too, about 100 an hour. That's not bad at all. Because normally when I complete even about 300, I would spend about 3 hours. So we're about the same speed. Join the club. Heather, Carrie, and me. Golden Triangle. Golden Trinity. Oh, Joyce the alien is going for a beauty sleep. She says my true nature will shine through. Absolutely. You're practically glowing every time you come on, the chat. So have a lovely sleep, Joyce, and I'll catch you soon. 99. 99. Night night to Joyce, everyone. Oh, Heather is going to have a... Oh, Heather says if I ever have a YouTube channel, I'm going to call myself the Turtle Stitcher. Go for it. You've already have the channel name. You already have the handle, so make it happen. Turtle Stitcher. Yeah, just say on the tin, so no one can accuse you of being slow, right? What do you want? I'm a slow stitcher. That's just what I am. I'm truthful to who I am. I'm embracing the slowness, okay? Don't judge me. Alien emoji and a snail emoji. What? So Suzanne has crossed over the 800 mark tonight. Amazing. And Suzanne is doing royal roll, right? So royal rolls. I don't know. I need to give it another try. And I don't think it will make me faster. It's just a different way of stitching, I guess. Let me see. Where am I? I need to think about this method I'm doing here because I'm getting lost very easily because it's just the nature of things. Maybe I need to find a more structured way to cross country. It just feels like I haven't got... I mean, it's not bad because you can see the stitches are flowing from the stitch area. So it doesn't look too disastrous. It just... the stitching experience is a bit more... kind of less... probably because there's so many sort of judgment calls I have to make. It makes it probably takes a bit more effort than I would like. I need to think about this. So I have one more here. Oh, so Suzanne Suzanne is just showing off now. She says on top of the 800 stitches, I've also done temperature stitching and 2 towers on my fox today. Yeah, it's just a normal day, isn't it, Suzanne? You know, 800s plus a few, few hundreds more. Just throw that in. Heather. I know, I told you. There's some aliens on my chat here. It's very scary. It's very scary stuff. And they're trying to distort my reality because I think, oh, they're the aliens here, but having so many fast stitches here, I'm thinking I'm the alien. I'm the alien snail. And this one here. Cross it over. Suzanne says only 277 stitches on my fox. Yeah. Nice one. Nice one, Susan. Jennifer's here. Jennifer's World of Stitches. She's a floss tuber as well. Go check out her channel. How are you, Jennifer? I hope you're well. Dan says, Nicola, simply a stitcher, has a goal of 500k this year? 500k? Which is 1,300 to 1,400 stitches a day? And she's a bit over on the track on it. Well, the world is a magical place. It's full of aliens, what do you do, It's like, what do you do? There. I set daily goal for 300. I hit it about twice a month, okay? That's my reality. I'm okay with it, okay? I'm not complaining. I like to have goals. It's just I don't hit them. Suzanne said it isn't my normal. It's okay. You don't have to explain. It's okay to be fast, okay? I'm not judging you. One more here. And then I'm going to end this little bit of thread here. Oh, I might do a mini Kamari. I'm going to just leave a little tail underneath. Ooh, risque. Dear, oh dear. My heart is racing. Oh, Jay says, I think Needlebug is going for the 50k as well. But that's one digit short than the other one you mentioned. 550k. So it's about 10th of 500k. So daily would be 130. My math is terrible, so help me there. If it's 130, then it isn't too bad. But you have to be persistent. You have to do it every day, though. Amber has joined the chat. Amber says, hello everyone. Catching myself first live. Congratulations. You've done a very smart thing. Well done. Well done, Amber. Come join us. And let me just mark these threads. Jennifer says, I'm doing good. Yeah, how are you doing? I need to come back and check out your channel. I hope you enjoy your stitching. And this one here. I think it might be fun to set goals, but it has to be realistic. Otherwise, you start to get a little bit frustrated. And, it's supposed to be fun. You definitely don't want that sense of, like, I failed feeling. So, so when I'm stitching, yes, of course, I'm working towards finishing it. That's the exciting part. Well, I don't know if that's the exciting part, but there's a goal on the horizon. It's quite far away still, but I know it's there. And, every stitch you make, you're moving toward that direction. And that's kind of good enough for me. But I'm not in any hurry to get there. Not that I can anyway. So let's be realistic. So it's more about stitching experience for me rather than speed. I want to be efficient. So it's interesting to explore different methods, but these methods ultimately have to be enjoyable, not just fast, but enjoyable. If I'm not enjoying it, what am I doing, right? I could be stitching 2,000 a day. I don't know what kind of method what made that happen, but in theory. But if I'm not enjoying the 2,000 stitches, I'm not going to do it. There. Oh, you can see something's going on there. Very nice. Oh, Jay says it's the same as Nicola. Okay. Okay. Yes, I thought that's a lot less than 500k, 50k. I think 50k even I can manage if it's about 130 stitches a day. Okay, that makes sense. Why are people setting such high goals? They're probably fast stitchers anyway. So they go, well, I just need a little bit of a push. And I didn't realize Needlebug was that fast. Her way of stitching seems quite relaxing to me. So why is everybody so fast? What is going on with this world? I'm gonna just bring it over here. Two stitches. And I'm going to park it, I think. Or maybe I'm going to end it. Because I've got another thread already parked. The next block of the same color. So I'm going to just snip this off. Just reduce the amount of parked threads a little bit. More manageable. Well, what do you think, guys? Does that look reasonable? It doesn't look too bad. I'm just not too sure about the kind of the spontaneousness of I need to think about that. Suzanne says the blue edge is so pretty. I know. This is the war in the background. tiles, I think, of the kitchen. River's going to bed, so good night, River. Say night night to River. Nighty night. Yeah, this blue is gorgeous, isn't it? It's like royal blue and mixed with purple as well. It's really pretty. I agree. I agree. So now I'm gonna just go, I don't know. I can keep cross country or I can start to fill in this area a little bit. Just tiny bit. So it looks, it's gonna look a little bit more completed. This one's just one stitch here. 3A61. 3A61. And if your first time on the chat, you like it and share what you're working on, it'd be very interesting to know. Just one stitch here, one stitch wonder. Can feel a little bit tight because it's just boxed in stitch there. There. In the final corner. One stitch, and then I'm literally gonna just pull it up without doing any special kind of ending because it's so tight. It's kind of jammed in the middle of the stitches. It's not going to go anywhere. There's one more here. It's right there in the middle. So Carrie says, I'm working on Merry Mushroom Cottage. I know that piece, Amy Stewart. I think came out at the same time as the reading nook, the winter reading nook. I know a lot of people went for this piece. Oh, so you're stitching it for my very whimsy 17-year-old daughter. Oh, does she stitch? I mean, she's old enough to do stitching as well. Or maybe it's a bit too much for someone to 17. Just one stitch here. I'm going to park it down here. In a quite random spot. Jay says I have to say goodnight before the battery dies on my phone. Yes, 99. Have a good night, Jay. I'll catch you soon. Carrie says, no, it's mom's weird hobby. Oh dear. That's so funny. Yeah, I've been stitching, pretty much doing cross stitching of some kind all my life. I've been, it's just one of the things I sort of really draws me in. But I can't imagine doing full coverage. When I was a kid, I think it would be just too overwhelming, just too involved. So, I think at that age, I'm kind of doing samplers and stuff. 3861. Samplers are fun. Yeah, I totally get it, Carrie. I think, yeah. Because we have another viewer, regular viewer, it's called Kamari, and she's a college, so I presume she's under 20, and she does, I'm trying to think, she probably does stitching of some sort, and but yeah, I think full coverage is just too overwhelming for her at this point. I think you to do this type of stitching, you need a little bit of headspace, kind of, a bit more patience to do because it's so involved. Nine, two, one. I think when you're 17, you get distracted quite a lot. Not that you don't, growing older, but 921. 921. Just one stitch again. Right there. Oh, that's very, this cannot be the right color. Let me double check. 921. Oh, I'm so glad I checked. It just doesn't look right. Look, it's too bright. 921. Always double check. That's the correct one. And I think I'm going to make this color the last one of this session. Now I'll give you my verdict on today's method and how many stitches I've completed today. So the last one is actually a little bit tricky because it's a boxed in stitch, and this is one of the byproducts of this way of stitching. Happens from time to time, just one little stitch surrounded by other stitches. And there's one more here. I'm going to just hop over and do it here. And then I'm going to maybe park it. No, there's already another park thread. So I'm going to end it here. So this is a very interesting session for me because since yesterday I've been thinking, oh, this is the method I'm going to try, because so far with 10 stitches I been doing block by block pretty much. And I just wanted to know whether cross country is going to work for me when it comes to tent. And I explained a little bit about the shape of these little loose stitches. They don't look as defined as full cross, because full cross you have that whole area occupied, so it looks like a little square or little bead. With these ones, they're just little lines, right? So you have to be very mindful, and maybe just a matter of training my eyes to do it. So I wanted to try this to see if it flies. So here's my verdict for you. So I think, let me show you my app here and give you some idea of my speed using this method. So I'm using Pattern Keeper here. Let me zoom out a little bit and remove this little guy here. Okay, so today, oh wonderful, I have gone over 3, because when I started the session it was just under 2 somewhere. We've gone over 3, now we're 3%, very nice. And in terms of the number of stitches I've done, it's 204, so slightly above average. So my daily average will be slightly under 200. So this method is a little bit faster, but bear in mind, this is actually half stitches. So with half stitches, if I do block by block color completion, I can normally do a little bit more. So this method actually slows me down. And I think, not that this is slow, I'm pretty happy, but I think it's because of the time I have to spend on making sure I'm in the right position, right location. And it's quite a lot going on there. So I think that's the part that's taking time. And also another issue with this method is with block by block, I tend to tuck the thread 10 stitches away from the block, and it's very structured. Basically just, take this, the threads and threads down, and then you tuck in a fixed location lining to the stitches. So it's fairly manageable. But because I'm trying to do cross country and goes diagonal, and there isn't a kind of a designated area that you can tuck these threads nicely, because with cross country you could, for instance, I'm having all these end bits there, and then if I start to cross country a certain color, it's going to run into these end threads here. So that's one issue as well. So maybe that's why it's in the process is slowing me down. And also at some point, a few points during this session, I feel slightly overwhelmed by just trying to find the right location. So I'm not sure if this is something I will, move forward, at least not in this form. Maybe without a part thread. Maybe another option would be the regular cross country. I just run, finish the threads or just end the thread when I'm done with that area. So that's another option. I'll think about that. But I think I definitely enjoy block by block color completion. So that might be something that I, resume to do. So that's my verdict for you for this method. But I'm glad I tried though. So let me just quickly have a look at the chat here. Oh, talking about devils, the devil appears. Kamari, I was just talking about you, because Carrie has got a 17-year-old, and I said, well, for someone like 17, or maybe your age as well. Not, I don't know your age, but I presume you're quite young. Then projects like this might be slightly overwhelming at this stage. So you can tell me if that's true in your case. But I'm really happy to see you. I hadn't seen you for a couple of days. So I'm glad you're doing well. And I hope college is fun for you. And you're doing all the organizations in the house. It's all going well. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit and show you one more time this beautiful mock-up. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this is what I'm trying to complete. And that royal blue is coming through from the tiles at the back of the wall. The pattern's beautiful, the colors are beautiful. And gradually, as I move down diagonally to the right, there will be a lot of objects popping up. And I can't wait. I really can't wait. Because this piece, so far, when I think about this piece, I think about this blue. Because it's so dominant at this point. But as we move down, a lot of fun colors will appear. So I'm really looking forward to it. And Kamari says I'm 19, and at times they could be overwhelming with college, but I love it. Yes, yes. Yeah, 19. There's a lot going on there. All sorts of things. It's not just study, but also, your peers and romance, all sorts of things going on at the same time. So I'm glad you find some peace and fun on this chat here. Heather says, thank you for the beautiful stitching and the kind chat. Definitely, we're having fun here and just relaxing. There's no angle. There's not a performance. There's nothing to prove. We just get together with the same interests. And we have a Facebook group as well. So you're welcome to join and share your design. It's always interesting. And there's a lot to learn from each other, just by looking at those photos. I can already see the few things I want to try and also discover new design as well. So we can have more whips. Building up more whips, definitely. So thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. She says it's really lovely. Thank you, everyone. So with that, here in London, it's 12 after midnight. I'm from the peaceful London, and I'm going to sign out. And so night night, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's session and your rest of the day if you're still on Thursday. So night night, everyone, and have a lovely rest of the day. And if you're sleeping, good night. Nighty night. Night night, everyone. I'll see you in the next session. Bye.
I don't know what you mean by I'll see you in